are with the lovely Zebedee for a training style video. It's quite a tough exercise actually. It is going to look messy and it's going to feel messy, not going to lie to you. Trot, okay. Canter, difficult. Jumps, very difficult. Hopefully I stay on. Whoa. Oh, what? It feels horrendously messy. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another vlog. Today we are with the lovely Zebedee. We're at home and we thought we would bring you along for a training style video. I'm going to be doing some pole work and some small jumps. It's quite a tough exercise actually. We've set it up so we'll go up there in a minute and pan around, but it's basically poles on the centre line in a serpentine, which you can ride in walk, trot, canter and small jumps. Well, you can ride them in bigger jumps, but we've got quite a small arena. The exercise is more about just getting them listening to you, some suppleness, rhythm, and getting them to think about where they're putting their feet. We've also got some walk and trot poles that are raised. So we just thought we would bring you along for our training session today.
Who's this suitable for? Beginner, intermediate, expert?
This is what's great. You can do it for all levels, because if your horse is greener, you're maybe more of a beginner, then you could just keep it to poles and just ride it and walk and trot. If you are slightly more advanced, you could do canter, and then you can build it up to jumps. The jumping is quite, although it's going to look really easy, Scott is definitely going to say it's going to look really easy. It's actually, especially if you've got a small arena. If you've got a huge arena, fine, but we've only got a 20 by 40, so it's quite tight, and you've really got to be focusing and thinking about where you're going and making sure your horse knows where you're going, otherwise the fence comes up very quickly after you've jumped.
Okay.
I've got Zeb tacked up. I'm going to hop on Zeb. We're going to head up to the school and we're going to start our session.
Okay, we're mic'd up.
We're mic'd up, ready to get on.
Zeb's looking good.
Looking good. Sorry, he always wants to turn that way now.
Watch the baby. Actually, that was my driving.
That was your driving, I think. Okay, so we've just got Lexi outside the arena watching her Miss Rachel while we film this vlog, so hopefully we can get it done before she gets a little bit fed up.
Scott's doing everything now.
Scott's doing everything at the minute. So we basically have a couple of exercises set up in here. So I've got 5 walk poles, 3 of which are raised. I've then got 5 trot poles, 3 of which are raised, and they're just, I like to have them set up because I can use the walk poles when warming up, and as I'm warming up in trot, I can then use the trot poles, do some transitions back down to walk over the walk poles. Our main exercise today is the 3 sets of poles with jump wings down the centre line. So we're basically going to be riding them in a 4-loop serpentine, and you can ride them in walk, trot, canter, and then pop them up to small jumps. Now, as I said, we are only a 20 by 40, and I mean, I don't even think it's quite 20 by 40, so it's tight in here. So this exercise isn't about getting them jumping big, it's about getting them to stay in a rhythm, stay straight, use your corners, because you've got to ride a really nice square corner each time you come off to come over the poles, and getting them to think about where they're putting their feet and really listening to you. You've really got to make sure you're looking where you're going so they know where you're going, because otherwise the fence comes up really quickly, and if they don't know, they go one way and you go the other way. I have just been giving Zeb a little walk, so I'm going to come round and we're just going to walk those walk poles. So like I say, if you don't have loads of poles, you don't need to have these walk and trot poles. You could just stick to this exercise. I'm really fortunate that I've got quite a few poles, so I always have quite a few things set up in the arena. Good boy. And I love walk poles. Walk poles is one of my favourite exercises, especially raised walk poles. They're such a good exercise. They sort of mimic a water treadmill. They really get them engaging their core. So if you guys have been here a while, you'll know Zeb is now 22, bless him. He's doing really, really well for his age. Good boy. He's looking really good. I'm really pleased with how he's looking and feeling now. But because he is a little bit older, we have to do lots of warming up, lots of walking. He goes out overnight and is in the day, so that he's out more often than he's in. So he's moving around, because that's the most important thing with a older horses. Just keep them mobile, keep them moving. Good boy. Good lad. So before we get trotting, as I'm going to ride the 4-loop Serpentine in walk, so that you guys can see what we're sort of aiming for. So we're coming off here, so this is a really tight turn. You want to just make sure you do a really nice 90-degree turn. You then ride really straight. Make sure you're looking where you're going. Obviously walks a little bit, everything's a bit slower, so I'm going left. And then I'm coming back left over this one, over X. So again, outside leg there, because you want to ride a really nice square turn. You don't want to be cutting the corner, because otherwise everything comes up very quickly if you've got an arena like mine. Like I say, if you had, I don't know, like a 40 by 40 or even bigger than that, 40 by 60, it's obviously going to be a little bit easier than what we're doing. But if you've got a 20 by 40 or a 20 width, it is quite difficult. And then looking left again, and then you can ride it back the other way. So that's kind of the main exercise. In walk, looks very simple. Trot, okay. Canter, difficult. Very. Jumps, very difficult. Yeah. We're going to do all of the above, show you guys. Hopefully I can ride it quite well, and
stay on.
Hopefully I stay on. Hopefully Zeb and I are in tune enough to know which way we're going. And yeah, just thought I would then give you a little exercise that I like to do at home, that then you can maybe go and try with your horses. Just riding a few circles, changes the rein, just give them a really good warm up in walk, trot and canter before we start riding through the exercise. Good boy. Right, I'm going to come and trot this middle pole, stop there, just because you can ride each individual element on their own before we pop them together, trying to ride that square turn to get us used to it before we ride the whole exercise. Good boy. Just focusing on getting a good canter before I start. So you want to think about making sure they're forward, 3-beat canter, off your leg, round your inside leg, because if they're not round your inside leg, you're going to have some difficulty once we start riding that exercise. Good boy. Okay, we just had a brief interlude with the baby. So we're now going to start trotting the exercise, the 4-loop Serpentine. So this all comes up quite a lot quicker, still not as bad as when we canter. So we're just basically focusing on keeping a good trot rhythm, 1, 2, 1, 2, making sure we're looking where we're going, thinking about riding those square turns looking left, and then we're going to ride back down the Serpentine now. So we're making sure we ride into our corner, looking where we're going, inside leg on the girth, outside leg to bring the shoulder round, both legs on, ride straight and look right. Got our new inside leg, outside leg, ride straight again, making sure I'm looking left, always looking where you want to go before you get there. And then looking right, good. And then I'm just going to come up those raised trot poles, just because that's, like I say, just a little bit extra. You don't have to do them. Good boy. I'm going to do them once more, and then what we're actually going to do is start to ride the exercise in canter. Really get him thinking. So I'm going to pop him into canter. First of all, just going to ride over that middle canter pole a couple of times, just to get into it a little bit. Good boy. Outside leg, looking straight, and straight again. Good boy. Okay, so I'm now going to come left to right, and I'm probably going to end up being on the wrong leg. Oh no, he changed. Okay, so now Scott is doing everything. He's now got the baby on him because she wasn't happy in the pushchair. So now we're going to attempt to ride the exercise in canter. So it is going to look messy and it's going to feel messy, not going to lie to you, because he'll get all confused with the legs, which leg he's supposed to be on, but let's just give it a go. So I'm going to get my canter, I'm just going to ride a circle so I have a good canter before I start, and use my space as much as possible and make sure I'm looking all of the time where I'm going. Looking right. Don't worry about the leg, it's going to be messy. Outside leg, looking left. Looking right. Woo, that was messy. And go back up this other way now. Looking where I'm going, and hopefully he might start to learn which leg he's got to land on. Overshot that turn a bit. How do we think that went? Scott doesn't have a microphone on, so he can't answer.
Well, could have been a bit tidier.
Yeah, it looks a bit messy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I figured it out though.
Yeah, I think if you guys go and ride this, it feels horrendously messy because they're all on the wrong leg and you don't have time to faff around changing the legs, so you just have to keep the canter, keep the momentum going, and don't worry about the legs. Hopefully once we start moving up to jumps and we keep riding it, they normally do figure it out that they've then got to land because they're going the other way. So I think, should we just put up the first one in the middle?
Yeah, let's get him up.
Okay.
You're gonna have to do that because I've got
baby. Yep. Fortunately, he just stands while I have to do this. Like I said, it isn't about jumping big, but if you've got a greener horse, a horse that you don't jump that big, you can put it right down to, you know, the first hole, because this isn't about how big we're jumping, it's all about them really having to think, staying straight, staying forward, the suppleness around the corners, and getting them to think about which way they're turning and listening to you. So I'm going to get back on by the fence because I have lost my legger upper. Okay, so you could jump it several times if you want off of both reins before you start to incorporate it in the exercise, but Zeb's pretty experienced, so I'm just gonna start to add it into the exercise. We're all on the wrong leg. Looking straight. Got to keep my reins a little bit shorter. Good boy. And then we're gonna ride. Now I'll just change canter leads and then ride up again. Looking left. Good boy. So although, guys, he is obviously the most experienced of all my horses, I actually think he is the hardest one to do this exercise with because he's much longer than all of the others. Like Max, this would have been the easiest. Max is quite short and turns really easily, so he would have found it quite easy. Errol has got quite a long stride, but he's a bit more, not nimble than Zeb. Zeb's just got a long stride and a long neck. Although he can do flying changes, he actually gets a bit more disunited than the other two, always has done. So I'm popping my stirrups up, and then I'm going to put the next jump up and ride through it like that. Okay, so I've put the first one up now. You also, sorry guys, I should have said this actually, once you put them up to jumps, you could ride the exercise in trot if you wanted to. If you found like, if your horse had a particularly like forward strong canter or was maybe greener or found it harder to turn, then you could ride the exercise in trot. Because Zeb is a little bit more experienced, I'm obviously riding it in the canter. Good boy, looking where we're going. Good boy. This looks a bit better, I think. And now ride back up. Looking. That was better, wasn't it? So I'm now going to put the third one up, and like I said, hopefully you guys can see they start to get into the rhythm of the jumping. I also think the other reason he maybe finds it a bit harder is because he actually naturally has to show jump in a more forward canter, and with it being small in here and quite tight, it's hard to really maintain. He almost jumps better out of a cross-country canter, which is impossible to jump in this school, let alone when you're doing this exercise. But I think he's doing a good job. So I've now put the third one up, so I'm going to hop back on and ride through that again. And then what I'll do is if he rides through that nicely, I'll just put them up a little bit bigger, staying forward, making sure I use my corners. Better. Whoa. Oh, what?
Crap.
Okay, well that was actually much better, but I don't even know if it was, because then he was spooking there. That was much better though. I think that time I kept him more forward. Because like I say, he's still looking, I don't know what he's looking at. He jumps much better, more forward, so that was much better.
Get him up.
I'm now going to put them up. What are you looking at, Zeb? What? I think he gets more naughtier now he's older. Good boy. That was much better. Got all the correct, mostly correct leads, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I can maybe go up a little bit bigger because I can make the end poles, the wings a bit bigger, and then that'll probably do them, I think.
Go up, higher, higher, higher,
Yeah.
higher. Give the people what they want.
Good boy.
Right, these are all considerably higher for what they are.
Yes.
Not a lot of wiggle room in here.
There is not a lot of wiggle room at all. Seb's just come over to say hello to Just Scott and Lexi. Look, Scott's being an absolute legend there. Filming, gimbal ran out of battery, so we've got that portable charger.
Get away from me. Get away from me.
Very cute. Lexi's now being a very good girl now that she's on Scott. She's a cheeky monkey. Oh, it's all right. Cut the corner there a bit.
Nice.
Oh, I think that was really good, don't you?
Good, yeah.
I've just put the middle fence up.
Again?
A couple, yep. Yeah, so actually that's quite a bit bigger now. Gonna leave the other two because they're tighter off the turns, but I thought I'll do the middle one, and then I'm gonna do it once more, and if he does that well, then I'm gonna finish him there because he's been really good.
Strappy.
Yeah.
Right, concentrate.
Concentrate. Here we go. Good boy. Daddy. Cut that corner a little bit at the end, but that was really good. So much better when I get a really forward canter. I thought that was really good. Like, that's a hard exercise doing the small school, and particularly for him because he has to ride in such a forward open canter. Like, it's really difficult when you have to do things that are really tight turns, and he is 22. Well, I thought he nailed that, and hopefully you guys can see how much better it got as it went on. So if you do ride it, do not worry at the beginning. It felt horrendous, that beginning bit. I thought, I feel like I'm all over the place, feel like I can't ride. He's all over, got the wrong leg, and it just felt all messy. But if you keep repeating it, it gets better and better. You could like ride through it with just poles on the ground in the first time you ride through it, then pop it up to jumps in another session. So there's so much variation you can do with it. So I'm super chuffed with Zeb. I thought he feels really, really good for 22. Just so you guys know, I have been hoping to get him back out eventing, but with the lack of rain and him being 22 and he feels the hard ground a little bit more, it's just not worth it. So
Also 32 degrees.
Yes.
No, it doesn't look it. It's a heat wave.
It is a heat wave. So I was hoping to go to Farley Hall this weekend, but it's just not worth it running him on the ground. So I'm just going to have to hold off until we get some rain, which I don't quite know when that's going to be. So as soon as we do, he'll be back out eventing. But that's why we thought we would just bring you along for a training vlog, because we're just doing lots of jumping training at home at the minute, ready for when we get some rain. So I'm just going to cool Zeb off now.
Give him some carrots.
I'm going to give him some carrots when I get off him, because he's been very good, and Scott probably needs to take a break because he's been doing a lot. It's the pram.
Huh?
He's looking at the pram suspiciously.
I told you it was the pram.
Yeah, look. Good boy. Really good boy, wasn't he?
Didn't get it on camera, but Ashley just walked in there and Zeb has literally just put himself to bed in his own stable. Carrots.
Okay, carrots for the boy.
Just washed him down.
Gave him a good wash down, give him some carrots, and then he can go and chill back in his stable for an hour or so before he goes out for the night. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. It's a little bit different, a bit of a training video, show you kind of the exercise I get up to when I'm at home. Please do go and try it out. If you have any questions, please ask us. And if you want more videos like this, then definitely go and check out our Patreon, because these are the sort of training videos that I put up on my Patreon page, loads of different types, pole work, schooling exercises, jump exercises, loads of different training videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Thank you as always for all of your support. We really do appreciate it. And none of this would be possible without you. So thank you very much. And we will see you for the next video.